So, one thing I didn't realize, if somebody stumbles upon this podcast, like on iTunes or whatever, because they search for parenting or whatever, or if they're just really bored and
Let's hope it's the latter.
yeah, people might not have any idea who we are.
That's true. Well, it's not like you should know. We're nobodies.
But like,
Little background.
well, even just names. Like,
Oh.
I listen to podcasts, and every podcast people introduce themselves. So
Well, we should probably do that.
yeah. Well, my name's Lorenzo.
And I'm Lindsay.
Hi.
And hi.
We know each other's names.
We know each other well. We've been married for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our podcast. We have
Yeah.
3 kids.
I think we have 1 download.
Yippee. Whoever you are, thanks. It's probably my brother.
Or me. Might be myself.
Wow.
I think I'm my biggest fan.
You and Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Donald Trump's my fan?
No, Donald Trump's his own biggest fan.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I guess some background would probably be good, since people listening to this might be like, what a bunch of weirdos, or who cares about their life? And that's true, who cares? But the point is, we're doing this for fun, and we're really doing it for us. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I
It's
hope...
not you, it's us.
It's not you, it's us. I like to... I mean, I record my voice all the time.
Are you recording the sound of your voice?
I am recording the sound of my voice, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I hope that my kids or their kids or whoever will stumble upon this recording and say, wow, my great-great-grandparents were really strange.
And they had a podcast.
And they had a podcast.
We don't even get that now. I mean, we just get weird pictures of people that look super angry when we look at our great-great-grandparents.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and rightfully so. They were living during, like, the Depression, so
Yeah.
I can understand why they'd be a little miffed.
I listened to a podcast called Don't Feed the Trolls.
Mm-hmm.
It's one guy from a band I used to love in high school called The Classic, or maybe it was college, The Classic Crime.
Yeah.
And then another guy from the band called, what is it called? They were called, man, I'm drawing a blank. But
You know
they,
what?
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had a funny thought just now. So I was thinking about, you know how people in our parents' generation, like musicians, when they get old, they tour, like, casinos and stuff? Mm-hmm. And state fairs?
Musicians that are our parents, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, musicians that are, like, our generation that are getting older just start podcasts. That's, like, the new gig.
So run that by me again.
So, like, musicians that were in their prime when our parents were younger. You know, if they're still in the music industry or they're still in their careers right now,
Right.
a lot of them are, like, unless they're super famous, are touring, like, casinos
Yeah.
and, like, state fairs and, like, you know, like, random spots like that. Summerfest in the Northeast Heights.
Okay. Which was fun last year.
Was it? I didn't go, but you
I thought
did.
you went.
Nope.
Okay, anyway.
But yeah, so they're doing that. But musicians from our generation that are, like, getting a little bit older, they are not touring casinos. They're starting podcasts. Like, that's their gig.
That's kind of true.
I know.
Like
It's like the
Emery
new
and
wave.
Emery and MXPX and the Classic Crime and
New wave musician retirement.
yeah, it's true. It's
But
very
we are
true.
neither musicians nor are we retired.
No, but we definitely like to talk, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like our fun sort of thing, and
Yeah.
my mom thought it was really cool.
Yeah, she was eavesdropping on our Gone Fishing
Yeah.
podcast when we were sitting out by the creek. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, you guys are so sweet. You guys were just talking about some really sweet things. And I was like,
I wish my mom sounded like that.
how much did you hear? Like, did you hear all of it?
Yeah.
She was just funny.
But that might be why podcasts are popular too, because how many times have you eavesdropped on somebody at the grocery store? Or this is the point I was getting at. The Don't Feed the Trolls. The Trolls.
The trolls?
The
Don't
trolls?
feed them trolls.
Don't Feed the Trolls. Podcast.
Wow. We've got a winner tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's better than last night's.
That's true. We started a podcast last night, and then we ended up getting into an argument, and we deleted it.
Yeah, we can talk about
Although,
more of that in just a second.
It probably would have been funny to
because
listen to.
I did want to talk about that.
Oh, great. Am I in trouble?
You're in trouble. No. The Don't Feed the Trolls podcast, they we're talking about how podcasts, like these are just two dudes who are just talking about random stuff, kind of like how me and you are doing it.
Except for we're not two dudes.
No, we're not two dudes. We're a dude. And what are you? I know you're a girl, but what's
I'm a lady.
A lady. A woman.
I like lady better. Lady sounds more like a little more streetwise than like woman.
Okay.
You know?
I always thought woman was like strong. Meant like strong. I'm a woman.
Yeah, I mean it is. But I just prefer the term lady.
You're my rib.
Please don't.
You're my rib.
I'm not a McChicken sandwich.
What if I took a picture of both of us and I said, me and my rib?
I'd say, let's talk about separation.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably didn't mean what you said about strong women if you're referring to me as your rib.
That's true. No, I follow this woman. I'm all over the place tonight.
Yeah.
I follow this woman on Twitter. Her name is Stephanie Drury, I think. But she's a feminist and she makes fun of people.
Oh.
And one of the things she was making fun of was men who, one, post pictures of their wife and say, take a look at my smoking hot wife, and like do the fire emoji.
Yeah. Look at my trophy.
Like my smoking hot wife.
Yeah.
And I might be guilty of maybe doing that. I don't know.
When have you ever done that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I feel a bit weird calling you smoking hot. Like, I don't want people to, like, be checking you out.
That's...
Well, maybe, I mean, whatever. They can check you out, I guess. But I'm not, like, going to advertise you.
Thank you. Thank you for not putting me into inadvertent prostitution. I appreciate that.
Okay. Maybe that's why she was making fun of those men.
I am not a call girl, and you should not be advertising me.
Check out my wife's cleavage.
Objectifying me. So that other men will be jealous, because that's weird. That's like that's about you and your insecurity as a man, not me being smoking hot.
Mm-hmm. Word. And then the other thing she was making fun of people for was like men posting the picture of them and their wife and saying like, I'm so like blessed to have my rib or something.
Wait, was it #blessed?
It probably was actually.
Oh, that is like my
blessed.
biggest pet peeve, because it's a humble brag and I hate that crap. Sorry. Side
It's
note.
all good.
I say side note a lot because I have a lot of side notes in my head, like asides from what you're saying.
My whole life's a side note.
It's like the footnotes. You know how you have to use like the footnotes when you're writing a paper in college? Basically, my whole paper is like footnotes.
Yeah.
You know?
Rabbit holes.
Half the book would be just like me referencing other stuff.
Lindsay's
back.
Lindsay's rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of dirty.
Whoa.
What?
Whatever.
Okay. I have no idea what we're talking about. Oh, yeah,
Don't feed them trolls.
So they think that maybe podcasts are popular because
People eavesdrop.
People like to eavesdrop. I mean, I've never liked to eavesdrop. I feel kind of awkward, but I don't know. Do you?
Sometimes I do. Yeah. It's more like I catch myself doing it and I'm like, oh wait, that's not your business. Today I was at Humble Coffee. They're humbly delicious. And there was a little boy and a girl behind me. And the girl was talking to him about all the pastries and how delicious they were. And I said...
Wait, are you talking about children? A boy and a girl?
There was a little boy, like a 7-year-old child. And then there was a girl who was probably 18 or 19 watching him. And she was telling him about the pastries. You could tell it was like a summer job for her.
Okay.
And
like a big sister, big brother type deal?
They weren't related, but yeah. And I kind of chimed in and said, you know, the donuts are delicious. And I just kind of looked at the 7-year-old, like, made eye contact with him. I think I might have freaked him out a little, like stranger danger.
Did you have like one eyebrow raised? The donuts are delicious.
Maybe. So yeah, I don't know why. But I was eavesdropping on their conversation about pastries, because pastries play a big part of my life. I actually dreamt about them last night, so.
It's a good deal.
Shout out to Carrie, Sean's wife. You were in my dream, and you were making the donuts and the pastries in my dream. So I just wanted you to know that.
Nice.
And then shout out to our friends Mike and Jenna. I was eating the pastries that Carrie was making with you guys. So it was a good dream. It was great. Just like hanging out with friends.
That's wonderful.
Eating pastries.
Yeah. Very nice. That was a fun dream story.
Yeah, I dream every night.
Yeah.
They get weird sometimes.
Well, I feel like I can tolerate you more tonight.
Almost had water come out of my nose.
If you've been in a relationship for longer than I don't know. When does the like lovey-dovey stage end? When did it? How long did our lovey-dovey stage last?
Probably like a week.
Was there a week?
No, I don't know.
Probably like, I want to say 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months is sort of like when reality starts to set in, and you're like, oh, this is life now.
Right.
Okay.
But
like you do snore, and it's not so cute now.
Yeah. So the first 6 months, you're like, oh, how cute, he's snoring.
Oh, he's snoring. He's so tired.
Now you like
Now you just
punch
wanna-
me in the face.
Yeah, shut up. I have to work tomorrow. Ugh.
Yeah. There are times when we just absolutely cannot like tolerate each other, right?
Yeah, no, that's
Like that, and that was yesterday. We tried to do a little podcast yesterday, but there were factors in the day that I guess made me in a bad mood, and for you were in a bad mood, and
I'm not gonna
we
point out
started.
like why or how you were in a bad mood, but I do wanna say it, but I won't say it because I'm trying to be kind
well,
here.
I forgot, so it's all good.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna save the recording. I'm not gonna publish it because it'll make people.
You're gonna hold it against me later, like
No.
you're getting a really big one. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna publish that podcast, and I'm gonna be like, no.
All our devoted fans are gonna listen to us.
They're gonna cry themselves to sleep because their whole image is gonna be shattered.
I like to pretend like I might have a fan.
Your kids are your fans.
Actually, yeah. It was funny about Luke. Actually, I have a funny story about that.
Okay.
So we're watching Moana, and Luke said, "I like Maui," and I was like, "Oh, cool. You like Maui?" I was like, "Maui's kind of fat, isn't he?" And he's like, "No, he's not fat. I was like, "Oh, well, what is he?" He's like, "He has muscles."
He's majestic, dude.
I was like, "Cool."
He's also
And
got
then,
a mystery factor.
So then I asked him, I was like, "Well, is Dad fat or does Dad have muscles?" And he's like, and I for sure thought he was gonna say Dad's fat. But he was like,
That's
no.
a trick question,
But
though.
he was like, Dad has muscles. And I was like, yeah, you damn right. I'm like Maui up in here, ship shafter.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like a father to son, like, bro conversation that I will never really understand.
I'm starting to have bro conversations with Luke.
Yeah?
I taught him something today, and it was like a father-son thing. Like, we were having water fights in our little wading pool.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, buddy, we got to stop now. And no more water fights. I'm going to shake your hand, and you say truce. And what it means to say truce is that means we're friends now, and we're not going to water fight. And he didn't know how to shake hands, and I taught him how to shake hands. What's up?
Oh, I thought I heard a baby. Sorry.
Oh, we're outside in our swing.
Can you hear the crickets?
Yeah, there are crickets out.
And patio lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to know what a bookmark is for.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, so I was showing him, and he said, this is at bedtime tonight. He's like, Mom, did you know that I have a science book that I need to study? And I was like, really? And then he pulls out this like National Geographic like almanac of science, and I was like, whoa, you were not messing around just now. Like, you were legit serious.
Did he pull out his oak desk?
You know what he told me? He's
What's
like,
up?
this is the Bible of science. And I was like, did you just think it was a Bible because it was like a really big book? And he's like, yeah. And so then I showed him how to use bookmarks.
Nice.
And he's like, Mom, you have to see these like funny Americans. There's like this funny American page. And I was
Yeah.
like, funny American page? What?
I think Grandma taught him what American is.
Well, so here's the funny thing. It's like a couple pages of all the presidents of the United States. Mm-hmm. And he was like pointing at certain ones, and he's like, man, they look so funny. And I was like, yeah, they do.
Too bad they didn't have 45 in there.
Oh, no. What?
45?
Trump?
Yeah, he's 45.
He was in there.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. And the
Wait.
the caption next to his picture was, Donald Trump likes cherry ice cream. And I'm like, is that a fact?
Were
Like,
all the
that's
other
best we
ones
could
like
do?
noble quotes?
Yeah,
Like,
basically. Like, so-and-so fought a bear with his bare hands. Bare hands. And then
his
it's
bare
like,
hands.
Donald Trump likes ice cream.
Nice. Oh, dear. Dear.
I was cracking up. So I showed him how to bookmark.
Yeah.
And he, like, learned what that meant. And he was, like, pretty stoked about it. Mm-hmm. But then he wanted to do every page. Like, just bookmark it and close the book and then open it. And I was like, no, we don't have to do this. It's not how it works.
Yeah. He was excited about his bookmark, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We went to Chuck E. Cheese. That's a.k.a. Hell for Parents.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I saw on the little advertisement thing that they have like Sundays is a non-sensory day for like kids with autism
At Chuck E. Cheese?
at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh.
And I'm like, I want to go to that day.
So they turn all the sound off?
They turn all the sounds off.
And all the lights?
And the lights. Yeah. The lights are off. The sounds are off. It's like a quiet like environment
it would
with
just be
people
like
who can
Chuck E.
handle kids with special needs.
Chuck E. Cheese with no sound and no lights?
Yes, sounds amazing.
That sounds like Chuck E. Cheese when it's closed.
It sounds awesome because every time I go to Chuck E. Cheese, when I'm done, I feel like my head's gonna explode because there's like ringing happening.
Yeah, but like the lights are half the fun of the games. Like, I mean,
Mm.
and then they like vibrate. You know those shooting games, like that pirate one we were playing tonight. That was pretty cool.
Anyway. Yeah, maybe.
You were so not interested in the pirate game.
It was fun. Luke just wanted to play it over and over.
Yeah, Riley
But-
just wanted to shoot ducks and ride a horse, and I'm worried he's going to grow up to live in Moriarty now after tonight. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'll support him whatever he wants to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and thanks for shaming me about eating extra ice cream cake. That was awesome.
You're welcome. Do you want to fight again?
I kind of do
We should
about the ice
fight.
cream cake.
We should fight
Can
a
I
lot.
can I just justify, not even justify, can I explain myself to you? Maybe I'm justifying, but we shared one slice between you, me, our 2-year-old son, and our 1-year-old.
Right?
4 of us shared one slice, okay? Everybody else got their own slice, so I don't see what me having one other slice really does.
I
Because
didn't.
technically I only had like a quarter of a slice anyway.
Cool. I didn't care one way or the other.
Except for I said, I want more, and you're like, you
No,
do.
I just I heard them kind of talking about there was a last slice and I didn't. Whatever. Anyway, it's not important.
I
No
feel
es
like this ice
importante.
cream cake is gonna like carry some guilt for a while.
No es importante.
It's not ice cream cake, it's guilt cake.
Okay. Cool.
Whatever, enjoy your beer.
I kind of am. It's really strong though.
You know what I realized after I poured it is that it's made by Abita.
Mm-hmm.
They're not my favorite. Like,
Where's the Beta? California?
I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I just know that they do like the blue. I think it's like the blueberry beer.
Mm-hmm.
Their beers tend to be, or the purple haze beer. I can't remember. They just tend to be heavy on the flavoring,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I don't know. It gave me a headache, and then I'm allergic to sulfites, and so some beers make me feel yucky, and
Right.
that one did.
Well, this beer is like, it's a very strong beer. It was aged in, it was something with aged
Like oak barrels?
like whiskey oak barrels. So I can definitely. Oh yeah, bourbon. Yeah.
And coffee, which
Um,
sounds awesome, but I feel like it's just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Because
It's.
coffee is an intense flavor, but so is bourbon, and together, what is she?
She has a towel.
Is that a towel? That's
It's a towel. I'm gonna grab it. So she
please
doesn't
do,
rip our
because that's
towel.
like one of our new towels that I just bought. This is why we can't have nice things. Seriously.
Oh.
I like buy a new towel like once every 5 years, and of course the one that I buy like last week is the one that's outside getting destroyed by our dog.
Yeah, she was just having fun.
I don't care. I don't.
Did you
want
get
it to be
towels for
destroyed.
graduation when you were in high school?
No.
I got towels. I didn't know if that was like a thing, but everybody
think-
gave me towels.
I think it is like it's like you're gonna live on your own, so you gotta be prepared, and this is something you probably aren't thinking about. So here you go.
I was like wondering what was that.
You know, somebody when I graduated gave me this like. Our dog apparently thinks that something is up.
She's like looking up in the tree. and
Penny.
barking. It's okay, Penny.
So yeah, somebody gave me like it was like a college devotional book, and I was like, okay, this is like probably the worst graduation present ever.
Yeah,
Like straight to Savers with you.
yeah.
Like no college kid or not college kid, no high school kid when they graduate is like yes.
Did you get that book? Somebody moved my cheese or something.
No, my parents gave you that, huh?
Somebody gave
It's
me
fine.
that
You're not
book.
gonna hurt my feelings because I wouldn't have.
No,
given that
I
to
think my
somebody.
Aunt Carmen gave me that.
Did you ever find out who moved your cheese?
I didn't even read the book.
So your cheese is still missing.
I guess so.
Okay.
But and maybe people. Oh, my church gave me a Bible. Make
like
sure.
you didn't just to make sure.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have one already the whole time you were going there.
Man, our dogs are definitely not having it tonight.
Yeah. It's
But,
really hot out here.
It is kind of warm, isn't it?
Like for being Penny.
It's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Man, she's really freaking
She
out.
gets spooked.
Yeah, which is funny because if she was actually confronted with something, she's kind of a chicken, but like, I
She has
don't
an intimidating bark,
know. That's why we keep
which
her
is
around.
something that you need in Albuquerque.
Yeah, no joke. You know what was astounding to me is like when we were in Portland, and I forgot about this because this is kind of how I grew up too, but people don't really like lock their doors that much. Like they do sometimes, but it's like if you're going out of town, lock your door, you know? Like it's just not, it's like an afterthought. It's not something that people are like neurotic about. And then here it's like you can't get away with that. Like you have to lock everything up all the time.
Penny.
So I just kind of forgot about that. It was weird. I like forgot that that's how I grew up. Like we didn't lock our door. You know?
Nope.
It was just like whatever.
I don't think we locked our door at Moriarty
Well,
or Santa Fe. But I do remember one time in Santa Fe, somebody broke into our house like while we were sleeping.
that's really
Did I
scary.
ever tell you that?
I think you mentioned it to me once, but that's super scary.
So
Oh my gosh. I would kill somebody if they
I
came
think
into
I
my
might have
house.
actually even been in the bed with my parents because I was afraid, kind of like what Luke does to us. Penny.
I wonder if there's like a cat over there and she...
No, she just kind of like sees shadows and she gets freaked out.
Penny, we do hear you.
Bring her over here so I can pet her. Penny.
It's not kids,
So-
it's dogs.
I think I might have been in the bed with my parents, and we kind of opened our eyes, and there was a shadowy figure like standing above my mom, and my mom, I think she thought that even like the guy's like pants were unzipped,
Oh, creepy.
and she woke up and screamed. And my dad got up and I don't know, said what Dad said. I would have been like, "What the f? Get the f out of my house." And so he
That's
ran
so
out.
scary, though.
We called the cops, and Santa Fe Police Department came, and they dusted for fingerprints, and
Did
they
they
looked
ever
at.
catch him?
I have no idea, but it was freaky.
Ugh.
And they looked at footprints. I guess it had rained. Santa Fe gets really good rain in the summer, and I kind of miss that actually. But it had just rained, and so they were looking at the footprints and stuff. Like they got detectives out there.
Jeez.
But-
Now it's funny because the police department like wouldn't do anything about that. I mean they would, but like they're so bogged down with other stuff that it would be sort of like they'd probably send like a service aide to do it. They'd just be like, well, we probably won't find them, but we'll come by anyway. Like
I'm gonna hold Penny like a dog.
like a dog? Well,
like a baby
she
dog.
is a dog.
Come here, baby dog.
Baby dog. Wow. Oh, yeah, she definitely is needy. Ridiculous.
But yeah, it was pretty freaky.
I keep feeling like I'm getting bit by mosquitoes, and I don't know why. Because I don't know, there shouldn't really be any. But yeah, that would freak me out. One time when we were dating, I think we were dating. Maybe we were just married. We were living on our house, not in it.
We lived on top of the house.
Yeah. No, we were living in our house downtown in Albuquerque, in a nicer neighborhood, East Downtown. And you were laying on the couch taking a nap, and I was like, I'm gonna go for a run because I was going through a phase where I was like, running is fun. I don't know. I was probably drunk because running is not fun. And I decided to go for a run, and I didn't have anywhere to put my phone. So I didn't have any pockets. So I'm like, it's fine. I'm just going to go like down the block a little bit, and then I'll come back because I'm not a great runner, and I'm just going to kill some time and like just get a little exercise while Lorenzo takes a nap. And I'm downtown by this hotel, and some creepy guy like literally like tried to push me up against a wall, and I kicked him in his balls. Like,
Did you actually kick him?
Yes, I actually kicked him. Well, I kneed him and then I kicked him.
I remember this.
It was terrifying.
Were we dating?
We were either
married?
dating or married. I don't remember. But I was like shaking, but I was so freaked out, and I just kicked him. Like I kicked him as hard as I could. And I went inside the hotel lobby, and I didn't like. He was definitely like a junkie. Like I think he was probably gonna try to mug me, or he was just super out of it. I don't really know. But I freaked out, and the lady's like, do you want me to call the police? And I was just kind of in shell shock, and I was like, no, it's fine. Like nothing happened. Like, I mean, I probably should have, but I was too freaked out to even like give a description, you know? So I was just like, no, I'm just gonna wait here for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go home. And so like I waited for probably like an hour in that lobby, just waiting because I didn't have my phone.
No.
And I went
You
home.
didn't have your flip phone?
No. But I was freaked out because it's that easy. Like it's
Yeah.
the one time I didn't have my phone, like something crappy happened. You know?
That was when I think you had like the Switchblade phone, so you weren't using it for music. But yeah, that is kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, I was working at where was I? I don't even remember where I was working, but it was cool to me though that like my first reflex was to kick him.
Yeah,
Like
that's,
instead of like allowing something to happen, my first instinct was to like go at him. So I did, but it was still scary. Like
that is scary. Yeah. And you don't think about those types of things.
It was like a Sunday afternoon, and downtown is pretty dead.
It is pretty dead. Albuquerque's downtown is pretty.
Like,
I really do hope it gets better, but
there's like no threat on a Sunday usually.
Usually,
but...
no. And I've always felt safe in Albuquerque. Like I really have. The only places I don't really feel super safe is like Central and Wyoming.
Yeah, that's a really.
But they
bad
did
part
get
of
rid
town.
of the bus stop, which is good.
Yeah, that's when I worked in case management, like all the time. It's a really big corner for prostitution.
There's a Pizza Hut there,
and sex trafficking.
I used to work at Pizza Hut on Zuni in Washington, and sometimes we would run out of dough, and they'd be like, "Hey, can you drive over to Wyoming and Central Pizza Hut and just grab a case of dough?" I'm like, "Do I have to?" I'm kind of freaked out.
I don't want to get mugged.
I might get stabbed or knifed.
Although you
I
did
guess
get
stabbed and
robbed
knifed
at,
is the same thing.
like knife point or gun point.
I got robbed at gunpoint once.
That's terrible.
When I was there, and then again when we first got married.
That's terrible.
So I've been robbed at gunpoint twice, which is kind of freaky.
Yeah.
And I always stand up for Albuquerque. I'm like, oh, it's not that bad here. Like, I got robbed at
gunpoint twice. Only 2 times.
But pizza delivery drivers are like easy targets. They always have cash on them.
But why do you have to hate on pizza delivery drivers? Like, they bring your pizza. Don't be an asshole. You know?
If you're really, really want your opiate fix, like you're gonna do whatever.
You're preaching to the choir, bro. I worked in social services.
Did I ever tell you about the time when I was in San Francisco?
Maybe.
So this isn't like violence or anything, but me and Joe and a couple of our friends from the marching band. Yeah, that's right. I was in the marching band.
Yes, you tell me every time.
You should be impressed, by the way.
I'm not impressed.
We were walking in San Francisco. I have no idea where, but it was definitely. This might have even been the first time I've experienced like a big city.
Yeah.
Like a big. I mean, I was in LA before, but this was like a city.
It's hard to get the big city feel in LA because it's like.
It's so spread out.
Yeah.
It's like sprawl.
Yeah.
San Francisco is dense. It was, there's tall buildings everywhere.
For sure.
Oh.
What is that? You just heard a weird noise?
That was Penny.
That scared me to death.
That scared me to death too.
As we're talking
I thought
about,
somebody was trying to get in our house.
that's
Is
what
it still
sounded
recording?
like. Yeah. It was
Okay.
just- oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
Penny
gave me
was.
a heart attack.
Me too. That was freaky.
Ugh.
My heart's like racing. No, Penny was trying to jump out the window because she wanted to be out here. Oh my gosh.
Oh, great, Penny. I think she's barking because we live by a church and there's a parking lot across the street and they're doing something in the parking lot. Like they're just getting in their cars. And
I really thought I had to punch somebody just now.
I know. I was like, when you ran, I was like looking around. I'm like, should I go get Juliet? Should I grab this beer bottle and hit somebody? Like, I don't know. Like, should I break this?
We're like on edge in our city.
I know. Well, I'm like, is it bad that every time I'm like in our house, I look in every room to see what the heaviest object is and like where the exits are? I'm like, okay, I can hit someone with that and I can get out that way. Like, that is such a bad way to be.
I know.
I don't want to live like that.
Yeah. I'm glad we have the monitor out here, though.
Yeah, that's good news.
Man. Anyway. So, should I
cut
talk more about San Francisco or should we talk about crime in Albuquerque?
I don't know what we should talk about,
Anyway.
but my heart is racing.
Yeah. Take a breath.
Trying.
Well, San Francisco. So, we're walking around and, we have no idea where we are in the city, but there are a lot of people walking around. There are a lot of like little shops.
Can I make a request really fast?
Sure.
It is so hot out here. Can we go walk over to that wading pool and just... I need to put my feet in there.
Sure.
Thank you. Like that.
Right.
I'm like sweating. Like we're in church. This is like not okay. Excuse my French.
I will excuse your French all day long.
Ooh.
So, we were in San Francisco, and there were all these shops everywhere. You know, they had like bootlegged stuff. Yeah, like bootleg DVDs, bootleg whatever. And as me and Joe were walking down the street,
Put your feet in here. It's amazing.
I don't feel like it. I was in the pool all day today.
Dude, you're missing.
As we were walking on the street, this guy. Oh my gosh! If it's not kids, it's dogs. Huh?
Yeah.
Penny.
What is this?
Those are sunglasses. They're baby sunglasses. Luke thinks they're goggles, which, by the way, I think we should get him some legit goggles.
I was wondering.
But they're baby sunglasses, like the little rope around the sunglasses so it stays on the baby.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're walking down the street with all these like bootleg stuff around us, and some dude, like really sketchy looking dude, just like pops up right in front of me and Joe, and he was like, "I suck your D for $5."
And you're like, how about never ever? That's disgusting.
And I was like totally, I mean, of course I was like thrown off. I was like, what the
Tell
heck?
the band about it?
Did I do what now?
Did you go tell the band about it?
The band?
Yeah, because you're a band geek.
No, I did not. Oh my gosh.
You did not tell them?
Yeah, let's not freak out our dogs.
I just didn't realize this was a squirt gun.
No, I did not. But it was definitely gross and creepy and freaky and
Ooh.
everything in between.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepers out there. There's a lot of creepers out there. I don't know. People are interesting. So I'm really pondering the idea of going back to school. You know this. I'm in the process of
Right.
doing some things to see if that'll happen. And I'm going to study forensic psychology. I was working on my degree in criminal justice, but I'm actually more interested in like the psychology behind people's minds and why they do things, not the actual act of the crime itself. So yeah, I think this kind of stuff, like deviant behavior, is super interesting. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Right.
True Crime Garage is one of my favorites. Criminal, This is Criminal.
Did you like Serial?
I did.
That's like the most famous one, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's, honestly, like in my opinion, I think Serial was good. It wasn't amazing. It was just the first of its kind. Like, that's why it was such a big deal. Because it was like the first type of podcast that really happened like that and came out like that and was like in like little segments and, you know, it was sort of like the first real true crime podcast to make it.
Right.
So I think that's kind of why. This last one, the last season of Serial, I really didn't think it was that interesting. Like, it was okay. It was about the military guy that like
Yeah, the guy that
abandoned.
deserted or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know. I have a hard time getting into stuff like that as it is, but I don't know. It was okay. It'll be interesting to see what the next segment is and what they decide to do it on. But yeah, I like True Crime Garage. I like there's one called Real Murder. I know that sounds so bad. I hate telling people I like Real Murder, but it's a podcast about like this guy from Canada. He interviews true crime authors about the books they write, and so a lot of times the authors will have a little bit of insight into like the crimes they're writing about that they're not saying in the book. So you learn about like what's in the book, but you also learn about the crime itself and like the case and why they chose to write the book, and it's kind of interesting because you get a little bit of a different perspective. Because a lot of times I'm just like nerding out on some true crime, sorry. Like a lot of times people like they only hear like the really sensationalized cases, like your John Benet Ramseys or your Jack the Rippers, you know.
What's the guy on Netflix? Brandon Dassey
Oh yeah. And
Steve Avery.
Steve Avery, yeah. You know, that
was interesting.
Interesting, but again, it was kind of like just the way it was done was sort of like for the time, like 2 years ago. It was okay. I think that documentary is probably a lot more interesting for people who are interested in like law. There's bugs eating me.
Yeah, mosquitoes, I think. Maybe we should go away from the pool.
Yeah. Because they definitely violated some serious like laws and they went through some loopholes and stuff. And so that in itself is kind of an interesting thing because of like how they handled the case. But I don't think the crime itself is that interesting. And that's not to minimize like the victims or anything like that. I just think that they were trying to prove that he was like some kind of like innocent guy that got screwed by the system, and I don't think they did a very good job.
So they were biased.
They were a little biased, but also like Brendan Dassey, like that whole thing, like and I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. It's been a while since I've looked at that case or listened to it, but he like had something like the cognitive resonance of like they said like a 12-year-old or something. Mm-hmm. He was an adult. So he was coerced into a confession, which is against the law. There were some things that were done like in his investigation that were totally like not okay. Mm-hmm. And he ended up getting sentenced for something that really like they should have allowed a lawyer to be present. They should have allowed a lot of different things that they didn't. And so I don't know. I think that it was just maybe on his behalf it was a little bit of an injustice. I'm sure he was involved, but I also think he was probably he didn't have the mental intelligence or understanding of what was actually happening to him.
Right.
And I think that if he did commit the crime or he helped with the crime, he probably didn't, I don't want to say he didn't understand that it was wrong. He probably knew that it was wrong, but he probably didn't understand that he had a choice either.
Yeah.
So
that was an interesting series, though.
Opinion.
So you're going to go back to school?
Yep, I'm hoping to. I hope I can hack it.
So that's another thing that I think about all the time. Not just like your school, but finding purpose and how those sorts of things take a back seat to kids. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm glad you're doing it.
It's hard because when you're a mom, there's this like unspoken balance issue of like, and Western parents, Western mothers especially, tend to give of themselves in an almost unhealthy way to parenting, to where it becomes their full identity. And that doesn't happen in other countries. You see women like in third world countries like going back and like working in the fields after they have a newborn, and the newborn's like strapped to her back and she's still doing what she does.
That's nuts.
It is nuts to us. But like women in Western culture have this like preoccupation with being the perfect mom and like having the perfect Pinterest birthday party and like making sure their child has the quote unquote perfect childhood. And there's no such thing. I mean, like you can't create this idyllic thing because you're learning who you are as an adult and as a parent and as a mom along with your kids growing. So there's no like, it's just,
it comes back to balance, I think.
Well, there's these expectations that are put on you like from the beginning that are unreal.
Mm-hmm. You hear some more noises? What kind of noises?
I don't know, dogs probably.
Yeah.
But it's like, and we have, in the United States too, like we have the highest amount of women with postpartum depression. Mm-hmm. Like, why is that? Maybe it's because we have these societal expectations to like be everything and be at 110% all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's unrealistic. I sort of feel like being a mom has forced me to reevaluate my priorities, which is a good thing. Like, of course I love my kids, but hey, I really do want to finish my degree. And that's something that like, I had always thought like, yeah, someday I'll do it, but it was never like someday. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that us as parents, I think we're figuring this out now that we have 3 kids. The oldest is 5.
Yeah.
I think we're figuring this out that we can be better parents to them if we realize that being a parent is a huge sacrifice. Like you're sacrificing a ton doing it, and you have to if you want to be a good parent. Like you do sacrifice a lot of stuff, but in order to be a better parent, you do have to take some time to
balance your life.
Balance your life, and then not stop growing and developing yourself.
Well, you have to have, that's exactly it. You have to have a sense of self as a parent. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of women, like that's exactly what they lose when they have a kid, because they go from being, Lindsay Dominguez, like who does this and this and this, to
mom.
Lindsay Dominguez, mom.
Right.
And that's not a
and
bad
mom
thing.
Mom is huge, by the way. I'm not gonna say.
Of course, but it's not. you were somebody before you were a mom. Mm-hmm. You were something before you were somebody's mom. Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't lose who that something is, because that's what made you decide to have children in the first place.
Right.
And eventually your kids are going to be something before their parents. And they're going to be their own individual people. And they're not going to need you to be mom as much. Does that make sense?
It does. Do you think it's different for dad?
I don't know. I've never been a dad.
I mean, do you think that, like, have I lost some identity, you think? Or is it more so, like, societal pressures and stuff for mom?
No, I think dads lose identity, too. I think that dads, the expectation shifts, maybe. More to, like, provider mode, probably, than it did before.
Yeah.
I think before kids, we definitely had, like, a balance, but it was, like, your primary focus was, like, leisure mode, you know? And
Before kids?
Yeah. Like leisure mode. And that's fine. You didn't have kids. But like when you have kids, it's like an, oh crap, like survival provider. Like I have a family, I have offspring, I have to provide for them. And I think for the man, and I'm not saying this to be sexist or anti-feminist or anti-woman, because some people will take it that way. But there's a certain innate need in a man and a husband to provide, I think, for his family. Like, you've told me that, so I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. Like, I think that it really is, like, a need that men feel. It's a pressure.
Yeah.
Or a drive, maybe.
Maybe I'm just not woke.
What do you mean?
Have you heard that term, woke?
Yeah, I've heard it, but what do you mean? Like, what context
Maybe I have this feeling because I'm like Chris Hemmingsworth and you're a damsel in distress and I have to save you or something, because that's the way I was like brought up or something.
It's not even about that though. You don't have to save me. You just have to be a good dad to your kids. And what does being a good dad to your kids mean? It means providing for them emotionally. Mm-hmm. It means providing for them with your time, giving them time. You know, because I think there's still crappy dads out there that provide like financially for their kids, but they're never there.
Right.
And so they're not providing emotionally for their kids, and kids need that, you know. And as a mom, I think it's the same kind of thing, but it's more like you have to provide the nurturing and the balance and the day-to-day stuff, which I am not good at. Like, you have to provide the structure and stability that kids need, and that's the hardest part, because when you're someone like me, stability makes you insane. Like
what do you mean?
Well, like, I love to be kind of like a wanderer. I would love to just kind of...
A vagabond?
Yes. A wayward traveler, if you will. No, I like my time in coffee shops, sitting and like pondering things or doing some writing or reading. I like time to do art. I like time to go like just dick around. Excuse the French again. Jeez.
Hey, our podcast isn't explicit.
I know, but I don't need to maximize the explicitness. I like to wander around and just kind of see where the day goes. And with kids, I feel like I have like shackles on. I have a leash on. You know, I can't do those things. And so it's hard because I have to provide positivity and emotional stability for them and structure for them. And I don't mind doing that because I love them. But at the same time, like when I hit that level where I'm like, I just need some freedom, I sometimes can't take it.
Right.
And it's just like someone jerking the leash back. And it's hard.
Well, kudos to you for like expressing that, because I think a lot of people won't even express that because they feel guilty about it.
That's Western society
again. They feel
again.
guilty about their feelings.
It is okay to be a human being. It is not okay to be a crappy human being. I think that being honest is being a human being. Being a crappy human being would be doing those things and knowing they're not okay and still doing them anyway, because it's all about me and not my kids.
Right.
Like, there are some moms that go, you know, like, and I'm not bashing single moms. Single moms do a lot, but there are some single moms that I know that will, you know, kids go to grandma and grandpa's on the weekend and they go out and do whatever.
Right.
I think that's really bad parenting.
Yeah. And they might be burnt out too.
Of course they are. And they do need a break. They do need a break. But is that constructive, like, to your life as a parent?
I think that might be human nature too, though. Because I can relate it to a different situation, like as far as...
I'm probably being really judgmental because I'm not in that spot.
Well, that's okay. I mean, that's an observation, and being a parent is hard. And having self-control is hard, but needed.
Yeah.
But, so, for me, I really want to diet, right? I was doing the ketogenic diet for a long time, and I lost a lot of weight. It was a good chunk of weight.
It was significant.
It was last year.
Yeah.
And I've tried to get back on my diet.
It's so hard with kids.
And it's hard in general to have that self-control. But what I end up doing is I'm on the diet. Cool, I'm 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and then the 4th day I'm like,
forget it.
I'm like, F it.
Yeah.
And then I eat a whole pizza. Not a whole pizza, but
I could easily eat a whole pizza, no shame here.
or I drink a shot of bacon grease or something.
Oh,
actually,
gross.
that would be ketogenic,
That is
healthy.
disgusting.
That would be legit
You put in
ketogenic.
your coffee and
No.
bulletproof it or what?
Then me and Oprah go on a bread binge or something. But I can see that with a single mom who is like momming it up all week.
Yeah.
And then grandma and grandpa have them. Man, I just need to get
Let loose.
Yeah. But
I get it.
it's all about self-control though. That's how human nature is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, being a mom changes you, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, being a parent.
I was like a party animal back in the day, and it's
Being a
so
human is
funny. Yeah.
Not just being parent, like being married. Like if we look back at our conversation last night, we wanted to murder each other.
Yeah.
And
But then again, you have kids, and that changes the whole dynamic too. Like, you don't want to fight in front of them, but you have to solve your problems. And I think having kids kind of inhibits us from communicating the way we should sometimes, because it's like, oh, I don't want to say that around the kids. Oh, I don't want to, and so you hold it in, and then you wait for the right time to say it. But because your kids are there all the time, there is no right time to say it.
maybe there's a right way to say it. I don't know. There has to be some sort of system, because a lot of times when we're dealing with
Like a
some
code?
maybe Pig Latin or something.
8-way, 8-lay.
I checked out a book in elementary school about how to do Pig Latin. There's like a bunch of different ways, but
I know how to speak Pig Latin. I'm fluent in fact.
see, I don't understand why people just didn't learn another language, like learn Spanish or something. Maybe we should just learn Spanish and talk to you. Anyway,
Well, we can do that.
but yeah, like if we have conflict, we don't want to deal with that conflict in front of our kids, right?
But then that conflict festers at the same time.
Right. And at the same time, for me, I want to be able to show my kids that conflict exists,
But there's a
and
healthy way to solve it.
this is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, for sure.
This is the right way to work through that conflict.
And then again, there's the question of like, where is the balance? Mm-hmm. Like, where is the balance? And that's like, I mean, yesterday that was a big part of it. Like, we didn't even have a chance to decompress from our day.
No, we just
Like-
we were just like, hey, this
We
is
were
something that we like to
tense.
do. Let's start doing it together. And my goodness.
Well, I had like a really bad
You
day
wanted
at
to,
work,
like-
and I needed time to like process that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, like, you weren't giving me that space to like comprehend and process it. The kids
Mm-hmm.
weren't giving me that space. I was edgy already, and I just needed a little bit of time to like kind of sort out the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get it. And then it was like, let's do a podcast. And I'm like, how about no? And I just sort
Did you say how about no?
I said I don't really want to, but
You said you agreed to it. I know
I
that.
agreed to it reluctantly. I didn't really want to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, see, now we can talk about it like civilized human beings.
Mm-hmm. Now you don't want to hug my neck with your hands forcefully.
Yeah, that's true. Except
But-
for the one thing I will say. The one thing about being a mom. This is the kicker right here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to laugh at me.
Okay.
They don't do this to you. They do this to me. Whenever.
They do.
No.
I realize that. I
No.
do see it.
No. Whenever I have anything that is mine, like I am going to take a bath, I am going to drink a cup of coffee, I am going to eat something because I'm hungry. Like it could be anything. It could be like the grossest, nastiest vegetables, but because it's mine,
They want it.
they want it. And I get so pissed because I am like, you do not care about this except for the fact that it's mine.
Yeah.
And because it's mine, now you want it.
Yeah.
And that makes me so angry because I just...
Well, you're loved. Look on the
Thank
flip side of the
you.
coin.
No, I know I am. I know I am. It's like there are times when I'm like, I just want to eat this
So-
like apple and not have to share it with you and your nasty,
You could talk-
slobbery little fingers.
You can think about it in the way that we come home too. Like, think about when I come home, kids are like, "Hey, Dad, hi," whatever, and I'm kind of like chopped liver. When you come home, not only do they like say hi, they all three of them start to cry because they want
terrifying.
you.
I'm not Justin Bieber. Like, calm
You're
down.
like they're like a superstar to them. They're like your biggest fans, and they
That's
just want,
terrifying.
like Juliet. She just starts crying, and Riley starts crying, and like, hold me,
Yeah, he does say that. Hold you.
hold you, and then and then of course Luke sees all this commotion. He's like, wants some of the
Luke
action.
likes to headbutt when he feels affectionate, which is I'm not okay with
Mm-hmm.
that.
You know what's really scaring me about Luke? And maybe I'm getting, maybe I need some advice. Email us, fans, all the fans. Email us at.
Do we have an email?
We have an email, yeah.
Oh.
It is parentingversuspodcast@gmail.com.
Oh.
Parenting vs podcast@gmail.com. So Luke, what he'll do sometimes is he'll do something, like he'll hit or something, or he'll squirt me with the squirt gun or whatever, and then he immediately realizes like he did something bad. So then he'll hit himself. Or today he squirted me, and I was like, no, I don't want you to squirt me. So he started to like point the squirter at him and squirting himself, and I was like, Luke,
That's part of the age.
do not do that. You don't have to squirt yourself. Like he wanted to punish himself, and I felt really.
It's part of the age. When they are 5 and 6. Do you know why they say that's not fair all the time? Mm-hmm. Because they are trying to work out a sense of justice, and I'm not saying that like that's an actual psychological thing. At the age, they are trying to understand what is right and what is fair. They're trying to work out the idea of justice, like social justice.
Right.
So it's the age part of it.
Oh, okay.
So he's probably at the part where he's thinking like, okay, so if I squirted somebody, like,
Yeah.
I should do it to myself. How would I like it if I did
Right.
it to me? That's how it feels to the other person. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
It just kind of scares me as a dad. Like, I saw him hit. I think he hit Riley or something, because Riley was trying to take his Legos or something.
Yeah.
And he like he got really frustrated and upset, and he hit him, and then he looked at me right away to see if I was looking, and I was looking, and of course I was gonna discipline him. But then he said right away, he's like, I'm sorry Riley, and then he started to hit himself, and I'm like, no, you don't have to hit yourself, just don't do that. You understand? We just don't do that. Like, I don't know.
It's the age, but you might want to sit down and have a conversation with him about that, and just tell him like that's not how people say they're sorry, or that's not how people fix things.
Right.
They fix things with their words.
I think I will.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
my throat's getting kind of sore. I would drink tea, but it's so hot outside.
Well, we can go inside where there's air conditioning.
I don't want to drink tea in there either. I think I want to watch something.
Yeah, let's watch something.
Yeah.
Good news is we didn't get robbed tonight.
Yeah.
That was pretty freaky. I had my heart was racing, like it really
I just,
was.
like,
I thought
stopped
I
and,
thought I
like,
was gonna
listened
have to
to
go in
noise,
and
listen
tackle
noise.
somebody. That was kind of nuts.
I would commit murder for my kids.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, if somebody broke into this house, I would have no problem. And I know that sounds really jacked up, but
No,
like,
that sounds really.
I would
like you're a
protect
good
my
mom.
family. Like, I would die trying. You know what I mean? If
Well,
I had,
that
like,
is-
if it was my time to come, great. But I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die fighting. Like,
Yeah.
no,
No, that's. That goes to your instinct. That's ingrained into your DNA.
I can lift a car if I want to.
That's ingrained into your DNA. Think about any animal. I mean, not any animal. There's some animals who have kids and then they just like peace
Eat
out,
them? Oh.
or they eat them, or they eat them. Some moms
so
eat.
weird
Some
to me.
some moms have to like,
I'm like-
get some protein.
I would love to know like how that is explained in like the scientific, like the animal kingdom. Like,
Well-
why do they eat their young?
So I have an idea.
Can we? We'll talk about it later.
Well, no, let's talk about
I'm
it now.
trying to wrap it up here.
Well, no, that we have something to say. Let's finish it.
Gosh, why do animals eat their young? Okay.
So I would say that the moms that have lots and lots and lots and lots of babies
Yeah.
have a good chance of having at least one or two of them survive.
Yeah. The,
In order
weakest
for
one.
them to survive, yeah, they'll eat one of their young, whatever.
So it's like natural selection, but within the family unit.
But it's just survival.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But if you are a human and you have one baby at a time, you're gonna defend that baby like with your life.
Yeah, of course.
Or if you're a mama bear, you have two cubs,
Yeah.
because bears usually have about two cubs.
Yeah.
They're gonna defend that baby.
Mm-hmm.
Or even birds, like owls have maybe 1 or 2 eggs, maybe 3. Here's what happens when there's 3, though. Can I tell you something
I hear
interesting?
the monitor. Hold on.
That's okay. if there's 3 owl eggs, a lot of times the third egg, the third hatchling will be really weak and small, and one of the other chicks
We'll push it out of the nest.
no, it'll eat it.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
That's super gross.
So, but if you're like a spider that has thousands of
Spider babies.
spider babies, like what's one little spider? I'm gonna eat that little jerk.
Gross.
But
So this has been a fun talk.
yeah, it's been a fun talk. And I think our longest one anyway.
Well, with that, I am going to say goodnight because the crickets are chirping, my throat is killing me, and I need to go inside where I'm not getting eaten by mosquitoes.
Okay. Good night.
Ciao.